Hi, beautiful people, reaching out to you today to wish you a very happy Divine Mercy Sunday. I wanted to share a little story with you of one of the many stories of the way in which God's divine mercy has been realized within my family. Over 10 years ago now, my brother-in-law went to the doctor thinking he was going to have some form of an outpatient. He was going to go in and come out with some medicines and deal with the issue that he thought he was going in with. And he was told that he had 2 weeks to live. And so my sister, as you can imagine, did everything that she could to make him more comfortable, and also to, more importantly for her, and thankfully she understood that her, as his wife, the biggest gift that she could give him was her prayers and the prayers of others. So she had all of us praying. I would say that although I was praying on a regular basis, there was one in particular day that I felt very called to pray for him. And that day happened to be, in that moment, happened to be the time that Don was actually expiring. So it's just so beautiful how our Lord connects us, and how his merciful heart brings us together for one another in prayer. So what had happened, my sister shares, is he and my sister had been praying with some friends on a regular basis, the Divine Mercy Chaplet. And this particular day, these friends happened to show up at the time that Don was declining. And my sister, not having been at the bedside of a dying patient before, was not aware of what was happening, but her friends also happened to be nurses. So they knew immediately that these were the final moments, and they informed my sister. So my sister had all of her siblings, or all of her children, come around the bedside and pray and say their goodbyes and so forth. And my sister felt as if Don was not, at this moment, Don could no longer speak. He could no longer express himself physically. And so she felt if she sang to him, if she poured out prayer in song, that somehow it would move his spirit, it would reach his spirit more. And so she sang this song, "Because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, I shall not want." And she said in that moment, he, after 3 days of not being able to speak at all, he yelled, "I love you, I love you, I love you." And then he passed away. And she said that it was almost like you could just see the spirit leave his body. You couldn't physically see the spirit leave the body, but you could see the physical change in his body once his spirit left. And so following, which is just beautiful, and there were many other beautiful details that followed, that allowed my sister the great peace that our Lord had taken, and that he had received, that her husband had received his mercy. And then following, at the funeral, I had flown out to where they live in Pennsylvania. I live on the West Coast. And I just happened to feel drawn to this woman, and got into a conversation with her. It turns out that she was the mother of Don's first son. And so she explained to me that when she found out that I was from San Diego, she said, "There's a beautiful church in Little Italy." And I said, "I know it. That's my parish, Our Lady of the Rosary." At the time, that was my parish. Very dear to me. Wonderful, wonderful church. And she said, "Yes, when Don was drinking so much, I realized that I needed to leave him." And she said that she took a picture of Don and put it behind Mother Mary in that church, and said, she said, "Please watch over him, and let the next woman that he meets bring him to the Lord." And that woman in my parish where this happened decades ago was my sister. who, from my view, took him by the hand and then ultimately lifted him up to the gates of heaven, knocked on the door and said, "Would you please let him in? Would you please let my husband in?" So I want to share this with you just because this is a unique story to their marriage, to their story, but you have a story too, and you're struggling with something too. And I want you to know that you can trust in the divine mercy of our Lord, and you can trust in the beautiful movement that our Lord has given us in this time in appearing to St. Faustina back in the 1930s, providing this wonderful image that has a face that is so kind and is so forgiving, and has his arm, his hand up in a blessing, and has rays of light coming from him, from his heart, emanating from his heart, representing the blood and the water that gushed forth from the heart of Jesus as a fountain of mercy for us. And then on the bottom, reading, "Jesus, I trust in you." So I wanted to reach out to you and wish you a very happy Divine Mercy Sunday. This is the crowning day of the octave of Easter. So this is something to celebrate, and this is something to continue to trust in. This is something that will help us to continue to trust in Jesus. So God bless you, and have access to his great mercy for you.